Welcome to the Mom's Mental Oasis, the show that explores maternal mental health, motherhood, and parenting. We are all about nurturing, supporting, and educating because we know that when we know better, we do better. I am your host, Moren Magodingobeni, and it is a pleasure to have you here with me today. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you and I ask that you please subscribe. And if you've been here with me for a while, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Today, I have a guest. She's a mom as well in the field of maternal mental health, a healthcare profession. And we're going to talk about the silence that women have when it comes to maternal mental health. And I would like to welcome her. And I want to tell you a story how I met her. That's how I tell everyone. I saw a post of hers on Instagram. It was sponsored. And I was like, okay, let me go through her page. And I'm like, she does maternal mental health. I'm going to DM her. And I DM her. And this is our first collaboration, guys. So please welcome Kamkhelo to our very nice corner. Hi, girl.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, yeah, to combine
No, I'm
everything.
well.
So before we start, I always give the guests the opportunity to, introduce themselves, who they are, and what they do. So would you do that for our viewers, please?
Okay, so I am Kamkhelo Nefale. I am an occupational therapist by profession. I operate as a disability consultant, so I basically give advice on what to do with once a person has a disability, right? But ultimately, I'm a maternal mental health advocate, and that's why we're here.
Yes.
But in essence, an OT helps people to do the activities, the everyday activities that are meaningful to them. So I act as a bridge. I
Mm,
help you to move from your desired outcomes through setting goals, through setting session targets, through setting things that are attainable,
mm,
right? It's not just about your work. It's about, can I get out of bed? Can I, as a mom, can I feed my child? And feeding is not only breastfeeding, but feeding my child. Can I participate in my activities of bathing and doing things that fulfill my life as
mm.
much as I am a caregiver?
Yeah.
So that's where I then step in and I help you postpartum plan, and I help you go through your maternal, what do we call it, your postpartum easier or more successfully, rather. Not easy, because motherhood is not easy,
It's
but
not
we
easy.
we we bring in, we want you to have an enjoyable one with more success.
Mm.
So
No,
yeah,
but
that's basically what we do.
no, the thing is, I wanted to add to what you were saying. I know with my first, I just planned the pregnancy. The pregnancy, I had a plan. I
Mm-hmm.
had a plan for giving birth. What I did not plan was the post part of it. And I feel like it really was a lot. There were things I feel like they don't talk, or maybe our parents don't, our mothers don't talk to us about when you're preparing
Yeah.
for motherhood. And to be able to have somebody to help you with the transition, I feel like it makes such a huge difference because it's not
Mm.
easy. The first day you feel like when you're in hospital, actually, because everything gets done for you, you're not panicking. You're like, oh, okay, I can do this when I get home. Bam, you're at home. Oh, the baby's crying. You haven't bathed in days. You haven't even
No?
have like, and this is something that most moms, especially if you're a first time mom, you don't get to have that mindset. You don't have that experience and you don't have that knowledge. And I think
Yeah.
this discussion will be that broadness for them.
Yes.
So,
So that is true though. Just touching on what you just said, is
mm,
that a lot of moms are encouraged to plan for the pregnancy, but we neglect to speak about what happens after.
yes.
And we aren't living in the same society
Mm,
as our mothers, where community was still together.
that's true.
We have moved away from home, wherever home
Mm,
may be. You're living by yourself in silos, and now you have to keep this human being alive. It's great if your mom comes, or your mom-in-law, or whoever comes through and helps you. But what if you don't have that support structure? What
yeah.
happens? And
Mhm.
that's what we need to be planning for.
No, that's a good point because I think I remember my first I did a lot of things by myself and it
Yeah.
was sure was very I think resentful even was there was a lot of things over there with me. So when I
Yes.
got when I got the second one, I was like, I'm gonna take help and I'll take it wherever it can be provided for me.
Yeah.
And it made such a huge difference. And the reason why I was able to think this is because of I had the knowledge of my previous pregnancy. But like you were
Mm.
saying, some moms don't have that privilege, and that is something I feel like we need to start talking about more often.
Yeah.
So now, what has your journey as a mom been like? And you know, you're also a working mom. Like, can they make spaces for working moms? Because it's tough. I'm one of those people that always say that it's very hard. So I want to hear from you. How has it been like navigating motherhood as well as being a working mom and your mental health?
So, no, you are 110% correct. It is hard. It takes strategy, it takes having systems in place.
Mm.
So, okay, my story. With the first one, it was shocking.
Like, you know what?
To put it lightly.
There's no need to sugarcoat it. Let's just put it how it is.
No, it was shocking. It was shocking to my nervous system. It was shocking
Mm,
to my body. It was shocking to my environment. It was just a big ball of shock.
mm,
And I had to now figure out what works, what doesn't work. But amidst all that, keep afloat.
mm.
Already, I was not keeping afloat. I was struggling as the.
Yeah.
It's like somebody took out my brain and gave me somebody else's brain, and now I must just make sure hore, I'm okay, the baby's okay,
Mm.
because I had a lot of anxiety, and it comes at you like a flood,
And it's
and you're
understandable.
wondering, yes, and you're wondering, okay, what do I do now with all this anxiety? Because at some point, I'll find myself holding my baby, and the next minute, my thought is, "Yo, my baby fell over."
Mm,
Because we lived on the third floor with my first
mm.
child, fell over the balcony, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, but I'm holding my baby, so now I'm holding her tightly like this because now I don't want her to fall over. But it's because the anxiety is there. But there's a science also behind it, and for me, it took studying further and trying to
Mm,
figure out why did I feel like that, so that I can set up systems that work in
mm.
my second pregnancy. There's a neuroscience that goes into your brain literally rewires to protect that life.
Yes.
And without anybody explaining that to me, I thought I was going insane. I really thought that, hi man, this is not normal. I've never heard anybody tell
The
me
screws are
that.
loose.
Yes, I'm like, why has nobody ever spoken about this? It's all these social media posts that we see that, oh, I have a new baby, and you get us to see that video of the new baby, and it's so beautiful and it's
It,
amazing. And yes, it is, but the in between
it's a
of
different
all
story.
those pictures is a different story. And we need to be more vocal about it so that
Mm,
we get to a space that we are helped, for
mm,
one,
mm.
and that we are comfortable with sharing that, hey, being a mom is not, as much as people say it's a natural process, it's really not. It takes learning. And how do we learn? We have conversations like this.
Very true. No, but
Yeah.
you know, oh, sorry to cut you there, but I wanted to just
No.
add
Mm.
saying about the shock. I feel like sometimes people need to understand that when you were saying the shock, it's not that your mind wasn't ready to have the baby. The problem was
Yes.
that you didn't realize the changes that comes in your
Yes.
life for that baby to be in your world. It's completely different from how it does a man. Because how people
Yeah.
always, even the dad gets changed, but the way that child is so dependent on you, like everything depends on
Mm.
you. That's different. Nothing, even your schedule depends on you, like the baby. Everything must be around that. And I feel that's something other moms should realize when you're talking about the shock. That's what you're actually trying to point out there.
Yes.
And I am.
Yes. Yeah. So that initial okay, I'm going home with a newborn. Obviously, my mom and my mother-in-law were there. And
Mm,
honest, can I be honest? I was not the greatest person to receive help
mm.
at that moment. I thought, no, I will have this. I'm a healthcare professional. I will have everything under control. Little did I
You
know.
know what I'm
Little
doing?
did I know. Little did I know that nah, this needs people who have walked the journey. Yes, they might
Mm,
not have had the language of what that journey was, but they understand. And it needed that. It needed people who understood that, listen, your life is not the same. It's completely different. And how do we
mm.
then get you to a place where you are okay and we can leave you with this baby? Not that they had to be there, but we can leave
No,
you with
it's
this
true.
baby knowing that you are held up. And I think that's what
Mhm.
community then does. So, how I juggle is that I center myself around a community that helps. So, I have my mom and my sister, my mother in law, my sister in law. I have a community. I have my friends that understand
Mm,
that, okay, this is bigger than just having a baby. Okay, you had a
mm.
baby, we had the baby shower. Yay! That's it. No, it's bigger than that. And what does that look like for you for this transition? So I had to accept help. I learned
Mm,
with my second one. Hore, we need that community. Community strengthens, and that's how I'm able to then go back to work. Because
mm.
then without the reassurance that my community is there taking care of my kids, honestly, going back to work for me would not have been an option. It would not have been
No,
an option. I would have stayed with my kids. And that's just a personal me thing. Um,
mm.
but it's because I leaned in on the community that I have that I can safely say, okay, Kamo, you have a life uh beyond here and now.
No, but you know what, Ne? That's actually such a good point about because the other day I was reading about this status. Actually, this lady was talking about how it takes a lot of strength when you're a woman having to go to work, having to leave your
Yes.
kids. That you have to mentally be having that support system that gives you that comfort of knowing my child
Mhm.
is safe. And I feel like
Yeah.
that is that first step of comfortability or even health mental health state again, the mental health of us being okay knowing that our child, when we're not there, they're safe,
Yeah.
that community is there.
Mm.
But the unfortunate part, which is something we talked about previously when I was having an episode about postpartum depression, is not every mom has this.
Yes.
Not every mom has the sister close to them, the mom close to
Mm.
them, right? And now, as a working woman, your last option is, think crutch.
Outsourcing.
Crutch is like your next
Yes.
outsourcing. And now we need to start making those moms feel like it's okay. You're doing that because I like what you're pointing out that as long as you know that your child is safe where you've placed them,
Yes.
you should be able to go back to work.
Yeah. I think it does
Yeah.
take a lot of mental preparedness. Um,
Mm,
you can go various routes. You can get a nanny, you can take them to creche, as long as they are safe. But you need something that we spoke about at work yesterday is that you need to live your life as a parent. Because when
mm,
these kids grow up, they're gonna leave. And you need to still have a sense of what identity. And if you
mm,
are just baby focused, just kids focused, and it's easy to say now that I am what? I'm currently 6 months
mm,
postpartum with my second
yeah.
one. It's
Mm,
easier for me to see that, hey, I'm not just baby focused. But when I'm on maternity, I was just here. I had those things that they put on horses, and I was
mm.
just looking at this. And now I can
Just
see
that
that.
one thing.
Yes, just so now I see that there's many facets of myself that I still need to feed into that are
Mm,
outside of just having kids. And those things are the ones that keep me sane. And without them, I will struggle. I'll always see fault where there's no fault. I'll be stressed out trying to grapple with life and everything else, and we feel like I've disappeared. And you don't want to feel like you've disappeared after you had a child. You know, it's not easy to carry because now you are holding this baby and you're like, but who am I? And when you have that conversation with yourself and you don't know the answer, that's when you need to take a pause. You step back and
Mm.
you actually have to leave and look at your life from an outside plane so that it's not a so that you're not influencing the outcomes. You give your baby to somebody you trust, and then you just look and see, what do I need as a person? What do I need to fill me again?
And at times I feel like, because what happens when you're a mom, you become so selfless. It is
Mm,
easy for you to lose yourself in that whole process, the whole transition actually of
yes.
being a mom. It's very easy. And unfortunately, the kids always linger onto the mom compared to the dad. So it's just a
Because we
natural
are
thing.
safe. We
We
are the
are
safe
the safest
space.
place. You are the safest space. Then when you try and then, you're trying to find that person you are now, because the person you were before can't exist as much as you want her to exist. She just can't exist because life is not as spontaneous as it used to be before. So I
Yes.
understand how easy it is for us to lose ourselves and not be able to, go out and do things that we used to do. But I like to come back to what you pointed out, that community matters. The
Mm,
community are the people that are going to remind you about, hey, I feel like you've gotten a bit too, relaxed, too let out in your life. You need to come back to that. And now, which makes me think about, or which actually aligns with the second question I want to ask you. When, as an occupational therapist and working mom, when did it come to a point or a moment where you realize that no, this space needs more care, it needs more support and more honesty?
so the realization came with, I think after having my second kid, I was like, okay, oh, no, no. Actually, let me take it back further. So after having my first kid, I remember speaking to my gynae at the time and
Mm,
saying, listen, I'm not coping. And the advice I got was, no, you need more sun. That was it. That was it. So for me, as a healthcare professional, afterwards, after assessing everything, I'm like, no, then there's a gap. There's a major gap in maternal
mm,
mental health. Um, yes, the sun does help, but I'm saying I'm struggling. Do I need to have already pushed boundaries
yeah.
and pushed beyond recovery point before I get the help? You see, so that for me triggered everything.
Mm,
I knew that
mm,
we needed a solution. I knew that as an occupational therapist, I have solutions, but it's also not a practice that is known in South Africa. The OTs are not in the
mm,
recovery journey of moms. And why is that? Because not a lot of people know how to apply it. But if we are in mental health, we can tailor our services for mothers. So I think that's where the conversation for me then
mm,
started. That how best can we make sure that not another mom is being left behind
mm,
because they are struggling. So I
yeah.
ended up doing a survey earlier this year, just in my close circle, and I asked how many of you actually struggled after having a kid, be it anxiety, be it depression, be it OCD, psychosis, because there are all these diagnoses that come up even without the words of a diagnosis to label what you're
Mm,
feeling. Um, how
yeah.
many of you struggled? And 9 out of 11 said they struggled. And that's a big number. There's only two
It
people
is.
who felt like, actually, I was fine. But nine
Mm,
out of 11 struggled, and that for me raised the flags. So when I look at what WHO is saying, they're saying that mental health is on the rise, right? More and more moms, especially in higher um, income countries, income earning
Mm.
countries, mental health is on the rise, and then suicide because of postpartum is also,
Yeah.
sorry, suicide because of postpartum is also on the rise.
Mm.
But in our countries, we're still struggling with what? We're still struggling with proper healthcare. In our middle income countries, we are trying to survive just giving birth. That's why
Mm.
then the mental health is left to the side,
Yeah.
right? We're trying to make sure that moms actually cross beyond and are surviving post the 1 year after giving
Mm.
birth.
Mm.
So, yes, our situations are different, but we cannot exclude the mental health behind that. We need to still be finding solutions. And I think that's what made me tap into the space of maternal mental health. How best can we support moms? Yes, now they've survived giving birth. Yes, now they are looking at different things. And obviously, there's still a lot of work that needs to, and a lot of research that needs to go behind this. But what can we do in the interim?
No, that's very true. And I feel like that is why, we are creating spaces of awareness. And I feel like because
Yeah,
moms don't know about this, so that first step that we're already trying to do with educating them, it's such a big difference in now the then to now, actually. And now I want us to really tackle into what are those signs that you've seen that moms, that are not okay. They might start now thinking, okay, now this is like, this is normal, this is functional. I
yeah,
know one thing I used to do that I used to think it's okay, and I'll be like, oh, I'm so tired. Even when I'll be sleeping the
yes.
whole day, but I'll be so tired. And it got to a point where I started to normalize it. But now I've changed that. I've rewired my mind, and I'm like, something is not okay. Why are you always so tired? And then I figured out what the issue was. But what are the other signs that other moms who are really starting to go like, no, it's okay. I'm fine. This is functional. We need to tell them this is not.
So, okay, the signs are quite simple, and I'm gonna list them. So it's you can the one you listed is feeling tired. That persistent exhaustion is actually a sign that your body is lacking something. And
Mm,
nobody ever tells us, oh, okay, we're lacking something. What else can we take? But there are nutrients that can be put back into your system so that you don't feel so tired all the time. So it's
mm,
the constant exhaustion, it's the loss of joy. Things that brought you joy are no longer bringing you joy. Why?
mm.
And yes, you're saying, oh, because I'm tired and because there's a person that I'm keeping alive. But you should still experience joy. You know what I mean?
No,
So it's the
no,
loss of joy. It is,
it is so true because the thing is, I am a person who loves meeting up with people and connecting. And when I had my first, I just stopped doing that. I was like, I don't want to. I'm too tired. And it had to take such a long time for me to finally go like, you're not okay. And there's some mom out
yeah.
there who is doing everything by herself, and she's like, oh, this is normal. I don't need anyone. And now you're pointing it out to them. No, you stop
Yeah.
doing the things you used to love doing. There's something is
Mm,
wrong.
yeah. And I can't stress it enough. We are all about activity. We are all about the things that make you feel like you doing the things that make you feel like once you stop, you know that you need to seek help. If you're
Mm,
irritable, you're snapping at everybody and you're just shouting at everybody. Yay, when
mm,
I you know I don't like this. I don't do this. Don't. Those things
mm,
also are a major sign. The withdrawing and being all by
mm.
yourself and just it's just you and baby, it's just you and baby, it's just you and baby every single day, 24/7 a day. So the withdrawal of just being by yourself, the going through the motions, the over functioning, even at your we have high achieving moms,
Mm,
and high performance and high achieving moms who will want to go back into the workplace and immediately just be boss mom. But that will ultimately add up and lead you to be so depleted and so exhausted that you might even not like going back to work.
mm,
And those are major signs. Also, the over reliance on coping um crutches. So things
mm,
like your alcohol is increasing. You're drinking
yeah.
so much coffee. You
Mm,
are scrolling for hours. You're sitting on Instagram scrolling for hours. That is a coping crutch. It's a coping mechanism, yes, but you're now using it as a crutch to function. So, how best can we actually get you to not reach a balance, but have
mm,
synergy in your life where things are working together? How best can we get there?
mm.
But
No,
those are the major signs. Once you're not doing the things you do every day,
no, it's a sign.
please,
No, it's
yes,
true. And I've had moms, like, I remember I would say that the other thing is when you stop looking after yourself, when you stop doing things that make you feel good
big
about
one.
yourself, that's already
Yes.
a sign that we are not okay. You need
Mm-hmm.
an intervention within yourself to get better. And, you know, I feel like, when you go to, because you were speaking about when you went to see your gynae and you told them that you're not okay and they went like, get vitamin D. If we're being frank, most of the time when you go for your postpartum visits, which is one, imagine how many visits you had when you were pregnant.
Yes.
There's so
Yes.
many, but then you only get one visit of checking up on you. But then when you go, when you take, how many times do you take the like our babies to the vaccination clinic? And none of the time
Yeah.
when you get there, they never ask, "How are you?
Mm.
Are you okay?" It's always, "How's the baby?" Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the baby's eating. All right, as long as the baby's eating. So then,
Yeah.
how can us as healthcare professions now start being, that interlink between moms and their mental health, and what can we do to improve that?
So definitely that is needed. Number one, we need to. I think it really does take collaboration. It takes healthcare professionals sitting together and working through problems that affect our community and our society and in real life,
Hmm.
not things that we can't see and I can't attain, the things that are affecting our community at the ground level. So what is happening in our communities? What are moms responding to? What is teenage pregnancy doing to new teenage moms?
Hmm.
We sit and have these conversations. One thing that I like doing is I like collaborating across the board. Be it
Hmm.
a gynae, be it a psychiatrist, a psychologist, you're a public health specialist. You know what I mean? So we
Hmm.
need to sit down and have these conversations and actually plan solutions that
Hmm.
work, things
Yeah.
that matter to the communities that we're serving. I mean, we cannot say that just because I deal with the gynecological stuff, the mental stuff doesn't. It does. We are looking at individuals holistically. That
That's
is health. That is the definition that the WHO gives us. That it's a holistic thing. It's not only your physical, it's your
true.
emotional, it's your
Yeah.
mental, it's your environmental. How are you functioning as a body in
Hmm.
these spaces? Are you healthy to interact with all these different spaces? So we need to really hold ourselves accountable at treating the holistic person and not just focus on that one thing that I said, oh no, I'm only specialized for that one thing. So we
No,
need to be collaborating more. We need to.
no, because it's true. Just as a healthcare profession, when somebody comes to see you, already you can tell the moment they enter the room, okay,
Mm,
this is a mental health issue, but it's manifesting physically because they don't know
yes.
how to, point that I'm actually going through this. And when we
Yes.
know and we're collaborating amongst each other, we actually are bridging that gap. And I feel like
Mm,
that's the
mm,
very point to put out. And, when we, for moms who are actually listening and thinking something is not right, but
yeah.
I don't know where to start. What should we say to them?
We say that you do not have to qualify for help for you to actually seek help. So you do not have to wait
Mm,
until you are on the floor of your bathroom crying for you to reach out for help, right? That's
mm,
why we have services that cater for every person, and they are free. We have SADC that you
mm,
can contact. We have so many outlets, clinics where you can get the assistance that you need. You
yeah.
do not have to wait until the red light is on.
That,
The minute a voice in you is saying, mm-mm, something ayikho right la. And that's the thing. We have for too long said we are women ba charity ba bukhaleng, or we are mbogotos. I mean, it's Women's Day today. Great. Yes, we are. We are mbogotos, but at what cost?
mm,
At what cost?
mm,
Is it
mm.
losing yourself and then holding on to the lost you for years and years and years and years, like our grandparents did, before
Yeah.
coming to the realization that actually I need help? You seek
Yo,
out the help.